Hey guys, my name is Tom and today I'm going to be talking about the harsh reality of relapsing on NoFap. So when I was in the porn addiction, I would do these streaks, have these ups and downs, and I'd be managing and controlling and trying to deal with my addiction the best I possibly could. But what would always happen is I would relapse. There'd come that moment where I have this compulsive desire and my brain's just like, oh my God, this is going to last forever. Like I'm never going to get out of this feeling. This feels horrible. I can't do this. Let me just have a little look. And, I'd go on Instagram and be on the explore page, I'd scroll maybe a bit, I'd click into a couple of photos and click into the profile. Then it's like back on the explore page and then typing in some hashtags. And I just end up down this rabbit hole and looking at more and more sexual content and then be like, no, like, I'm going to stop in a minute. Like, I'm not going to actually go ahead. Like, I'm going to stop. And then I'd keep on doing it and then doing it and doing it. And then I relapse. All right. Back to day zero, right? Back to day zero. Feeling drained, tired, lethargic, frustrated with myself, just completely exhausted and walking around like a zombie, thinking, oh my God, like, how have I ended up here again? That would be the cycle, that'd be the loop, this frustrating up and down roller coaster. That was my life for 9 years. On the outside, I'm this confident, pretty normal guy. On the inside, I'm sort of just managing an addiction and thinking about this problem all the time and trying my very best to overcome it. Now, I would really zoom in on those consequences immediately after a relapse. Energy drains. I don't want to connect with anyone. I want to be on my own. I'm feeling horrendous. And sometimes I'd spend days alone. I wouldn't want to go out into the world and connect. That was the immediate consequence of relapsing. Now, I look at things very differently now. Now I'm out of this addiction. I zoom out and I see that I was in this addiction for 9 years and I was going round in circles. I would feel like I was making progress when I was on one of these streaks and maybe I'd gone a few weeks, even a few months without porn. I've kept it on here, but on YouTube, my most viewed video, I think it's got like 20-something thousand views now. 90 days of NoFap timeline. That was me years ago. So we've got evidence there of me doing the NoFap streak. But did it really serve me? And what was really going on there? Like, the truth is, what I've now realised is that actually there's very immediate consequences. The tiredness, the frustration, the self-disgust, the shame, the isolation. That was almost disguising and getting me away from seeing this problem from a big picture view, actually zooming out and going, hang on, I'm in an addiction here. It was because I was so wrapped up in it at the time, I couldn't see that actually the problem was way bigger, way deeper, way more prevalent in my life than I believed it to be. All of those thoughts on this streak of how many days am I on? All of that time spent in online communities talking to other guys with this problem. All of the time spent trying to meditate, go to the gym, read self-improvement books, watch YouTube NoFap videos. All of that time was still part of the problem. Because the only thing I needed was to deal with those urges correctly and rewire my brain and shift those neural pathways, change them actively, really grab them and change them from thinking about this problem all the time into, okay, I'm having an urge right now. I've got a choice to make, think it through, make a choice and move on. So that you do that, you do that repeatedly and your neural pathways change. If you can really think through an urge correctly, and within our program, we of course use the 5-fact script to do that in a very, very specific, skilled way. Now, if you can do that repeatedly, those neural pathways are going to change. And they're going to change and change and change to the point where you're not really even thinking about this problem. It becomes a non-issue and you're experiencing freedom. Like, you've got clarity and trust in yourself. You've got that confidence and stability and groundedness. Because now you're looking back on the addiction and it's like, oh shit, like I was in this thing. I was in a circle, like going round and round. This illusion of self-control and self-mastery of being on a temporary streak and then relapsing and crashing and going back down, round the circle again. And round and round and round. Trying new methods, learning new things. Believing that you figured out a new trigger that we just need to remove, and then we can crack on with our life. I'll just delete the Instagram app. Now I'm good. Sorted. I just need to meditate every day for an hour. Now I'm good. Now we're sorted. If I just go to the gym every day, if I stay busy, if I work 72 hours a week. These are the stories of my life and thousands of other guys as well. Stuck consuming content which doesn't actually change, addicted neural pathways. Because eventually this moment comes along, you have this all-consuming urge and all these thought patterns which are coming from the addicted part of the mind, which is like, once won't hurt. You know what, I've had a hard week. I'll reward myself. I'll start tomorrow. I've already looked a little bit, so looking a bit more is not really going to make a difference. And then you're right back in it. You're choosing to engage, you're in the cycle again, and then tomorrow you have all this motivation. This is it now, day one. I'm never going back to porn. I'm never going back. You've got all this motivation, feeling excited, you've made a plan, relapse prevention plan or whatever. And that motivation doesn't actually change the addictive neural pathways, because we're not getting into the addictive neural pathways, because we're still, at this point in time, denying that we even want to do this thing. I can't look at porn. I don't even want to look at porn. We're denying the truth. We're denying that our neural pathways are addicted, and this happened to us, and it's not our fault. We were born into a messed up society, and porn's like a drug, and our brain wired to crave it. But we're denying all of that, and we're thinking motivation is going to get us by, and it only ever lasts for a temporary period of time before all the thoughts come back of, just do it once, and then you're back in it again, and it's just round and round and round. So what is the alternative? The alternative is getting on the straight line, It takes preparation. It takes some learning. It takes some training. You discover how the addicted part of the mind is using all these different strategies and tactics on you, how there's these different parts within us, the rational mind, the child self, the addicted part of the mind, and we get crystal clear on how do I actually deal with urges, how do I deal with all these old thought patterns I used to have? How do I think them through and change them, correct them, be assertive, start to actually answer back to all the bullshit coming from the addicted part of the mind who's been bullying you and swinging you around like a puppet for so many years, making it seem like you're the problem, making it seem like it's to do with your sexuality, like it's to do with you as a human being, when really it's to do with compulsive desire and addicted neural pathways and our messed up society and all the misinformation, all the inadequate methods that are making this problem worse by getting you into feelings of deprivation, by using the blockers, by removing triggers, and by doing all this other nonsense which completely skirts around the real number one problem, which is that moment when you have an urge and you have no idea what to actually do in that moment. We get on the straight line by undergoing a thorough education on addiction, getting crystal clear on how to deal with compulsive desire, and we think through the choice repeatedly, and what's going to happen is those desires are going to lessen over time, and you're going to rewire your brain, and you're going to stay on this straight line. Now, if you engage once, you fall off that straight line and you're back in that circle. You're back in the addiction. And you're going to be back in it indefinitely, because that's how addiction works. It strengthens the addictive neural pathways. You want to do it again, and you want to do it again and again and again, and then you're back in that cycle. There is nothing to learn from relapsing. Relapse is part of relapse. It is not part of recovery. And you are not the failure here. The methods are failing you. Thank you for listening to this. Hopefully you can take a fresh perspective away from it. It's been a bit of a serious one, but I'm sure there'll be some more upbeat ones in the future. And if you would like to learn more about the Beyond Compulsion method and getting on this straight line, I'll leave a link to some free training in the description. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.